to not notice it. It's like, well, what is it? What is this line of thinking?
Doesn't make any sense. Oh, I think we're live now. Let me
No.
check real quick. Yeah, we should be. Should be. These things are always so convoluted. Right. How? Oh. Okay. Oh, we already have a viewer. Alright, hello Legacy. You're welcome to join us in Hawke's Nonsensical Night Stream. That's how I named the stream. So, welcome everyone. It's an emergency stream by my good friend Hawke, who has a lot of things to talk about. So, why don't you get right to it? What are we gonna talk about today?
Absolutely everything. The utter state of everything.
I already love this. All right. So, I think it all began from like a low conversation that you had on Twitter about Hawke.
Oh no, it all started because people put up that picture of was it the three women?
The Three Stooges, yeah.
Yeah, for Elder Scrolls, right? And obviously people putting like, oh no, it's not a good sign. They look like activists, and it's like, oh, yeah, they do a little bit. Especially now, I found pictures of what they look like 15 years ago.
Yeah, they do.
And they're just normal people.
Yeah.
Now they literally have blue hair.
Yeah, they do.
So obviously, people are saying they're worried about it being woke. And it's like, okay, that's fine. And to combat this, people have said, yeah, but they worked on Skyrim and Oblivion. They've been there for years. They've made good games. So obviously, it must mean that new stuff's going to be good.
It's like, but how many years was it?
Well, Skyrim was 15 years ago.
15 years, yeah.
Was it 15?
Yeah, 2011. It came out 2011, November 11. I remember that much.
Yeah, so it's 14 years ago.
14 years, and what was the game before that? Oblivion and more.
Oblivion.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's great. They made those, but how many studios and creators do we know who made great games in the noughties and the early 2010s who made utter crap now?
Way too many to list.
Yeah, it's like that's. So you're like, okay, so fair enough. I can understand why people don't agree with people worried about it, because they sit by the line of, well, they made something good over a decade and a half ago, so they must make something good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, there's no way that any like company could ever create amazing content in like 2009, 10, 11, and then by 2024 or 2025 make crap. Never happened. BioWare.
Way too many times to count, honestly.
So I make a point going like, well, if it does turn into a like crap, then the point stands that you can tell it just by how people dress and look and all that. And I mentioned that, well, the gaming industry does have an ideology that is prevalent throughout it.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, that pretty much guides most companies now. I mean, you just have to look at Last of Us Part 2, Concord, Veilguard.
I completely forgot about Concord. Like, it's just Starfield. Like it escaped my mind.
Yep. Like, you just have to look at that's 4 already that got hit by it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the list goes on, but so it's clear that there's this thing that's happening. But when you mention the ideology, people pretend that, well, I don't know what this ideology is. What are you on about? So I responded going, oh, well, you know which ideology it is, and you know it's prevalent. You're like, oh, if you're going to talk about wokeness doesn't exist. And you're like, "Ugh, right, okay."
It's the
And
same.
then
It's the same kind of talking points that like
mm,
we have been like discussing on Smodcast and all these other venues for years now.
it is literally the exact same argument has come up now. Wokeness doesn't exist, um, but it does exist, and it's always been part of the series. Oh, and you're just an idiot for not noticing it, but you're also an idiot for pointing it out. So it's
Yeah,
like, okay, well, what is it? Does it exist or doesn't exist?
yeah. My other favorite has to be that there was that post about Elden Ring, and Elden
Yeah,
Ring made the foolish mistake that in the character creation you have type A and type B for body type
yeah.
of character instead of having male or female. And now like
hmm
somebody is like trying to like write that thing that like, oh, go sell 30 million, where we misled. Is that like that's not the point, that's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
It's not about that.
but
Oh, they have done this one change. That means like it's gonna be bad. It just means that if they have done something like that, and Elden Ring is an exception because it's not like story focused as much as like those other
mm,
titles that Western
yeah,
studios make, like Veilguard and or Starfield,
mm,
where
yeah.
you
But
clearly see that it's just really bad.
but if you mentioned to something that failed, oh well, it had wokeness in it, they go, well, it doesn't exist,
Yeah,
and you're like, but it wokeness is a thing that doesn't exist until it might be good, at which point it does exist.
yeah.
You're like,
Well,
right. So
Legacy
wokeness
wrote
only
that it doesn't exist, but it's a good thing that it does.
yeah, and it's literally you just got to. I just got to the point where I don't want to interact with these people anymore because they are just flat out liars who have
They are.
nothing. There's nothing there.
Hmm.
There's absolutely nothing there because they are willing to lie about everything.
It's just so they
It,
can win an argument that doesn't even
yeah,
have any stakes in it.
no. Like the people I was responding to today, it's like, oh, wokeness has always existed in Bethesda games. Okay, I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. What's your point?
It never accomplishes anything.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's great. It's right, but now you're telling me that I shouldn't bring up the fact that there's woke stuff. There could be woke stuff in Elder Scrolls 6 because I'd be an idiot to say that. But it's always existed. So which is it?
It always existed. I have like 5 or 6 instances in a game that is like over several hundred hours long.
Hmm,
So it means that like it has always been woke. Oh,
yeah.
really? But like maybe I can just go through the game without like even slightly encountering those things, because the person
Hmm,
that like replied to you about the Morrowind examples, like 80% of the stuff that he mentioned, I didn't even know about until that. Like that
yeah.
game is huge. Like it doesn't have like the fast travel system as Oblivion or Skyrim. It's just like
Yeah.
refined of those things. So that you just walk through the game, and the
Hmm.
main quest is not even the biggest in that game. Like you can just like enroll in those side quests for like forever. Honestly, it's just
It just
you're not gonna encounter these small
hmm.
instances. You have to look for
But
it.
what? Yeah, but what what gets me as well is, oh, if you mention work, you're obviously not a gamer. Like, what are you on about? What are you actually on about?
That used to work like at the
Yeah.
like 10 years ago, that like, oh, you're
Hmm.
noticing too many things, like you're probably not focusing on the game itself. Like like a decade ago I would have said to them that like, oh yeah, maybe you're right, yeah, maybe I'm like focusing on like external things, but now it's just in your face. Like
Yeah.
what was like the game that like really was overhyped and like it flopped really hard, and they needed like years for them to repair the image? That was like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, like somehow, like the first, like Cyberpunk 2077 that's came out talking about, like that game came out, and they were promoting it with like that dude that you can have as the main character, and now all the promotional materials have like the female variant of that protagonist, and even like the DLC story has it in the focus. It's almost like they erased the other guy. Or like a more like a closer example is like Shepard from Mass Effect, like female Shepard. Like it's like the marketing for that version is just like way overblown. Like people are more used to playing as the male Shepard.
Fact that what gets me is it's the nonsensical lies where you realise that the person you're talking to has to lie with every sentence they say just to make sense of their own stuff, and you're like, what? Why don't you support this ideology? Why do you not want other people noticing this ideology? That's what it comes down to. If this ideology that you follow is perfect and amazing and wonderful and everyone should believe in it, why do you not like it when people point it out?
Maybe like deep down they are embarrassed by it. I hope so.
Well, they do. I don't understand. It's one thing that has never made sense to me. Is a left wing will go, I love the woke, I want all this, I want gay representation, I want pride flags, I want all this, I want blah blah blah, I want colored people, women of color as the main characters, I want this, I don't want white guys, I don't want blah 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 blah, I want equality, all this sort of stuff, and you're like, okay, that's fine. The game does terrible. You point out, well, the game had all this stuff. Like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. That's not the point. That's not the thing. No. You're like, can't I point this out now? Because I can't even mention it's got it.
It really comes down. It really comes down that like those people that like promote those things, like they never really got invested in the games themselves. It's more about that, like they saw like a video about it online, and they're engaging only with that kind of circle. So they really couldn't care less if like it's gonna be a success or not. They only have like this kind of like a parasocial relationship with the video game. So they never really meet the person or like the game in this case.
It's just like I say, it's just so strange. And like I respond to those people, like there's no point to the debate here. And then the guy was, I didn't realize you go broke so quickly. I thought it'd be more intelligent. There's no discussion here.
Yeah.
There's no discussion here at all. You said you didn't know what the ideology was. I said, well, you do. And the first response he did was, well, if you talk about wokeness, it's like, so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So you're just being obtuse. So you are literally just being obtuse and lying about understanding what the ideology is. I didn't even call it woke.
Yeah, you did that.
Because I don't call it woke because that's their word. It's just basic left wing ideology. It's a progressive left wing ideology.
It is. It pretty much.
And the thing is, you can't properly describe it because the ideology is always changing day to day. New things are accepted and old things are not accepted.
Yep.
What is accepted today can be tomorrow's taboo.
And
that's the issue.
I think like the biggest contender for that is Elon Musk himself. Like remember like how many left wing people or even like politicians for that fuck's sake have been like promoting the guy because like, oh well, he is the electric car guy. It was just so funny because I met like a friend of mine who is extremely liberal. So and like the topic was like Elon Musk And pretty much the conversation was that, like, oh, I used to really love this guy, but now I just really hate this person so much. And I asked, like, how so? Because, like, now he's doesn't support the things that I used to support or I am supporting currently. It's like, okay, that sounds very interesting. They don't even know, like, what that person does, even. They just know that, like, this person, I need to hate this person.
It's like something that I never thought about before, but it actually comes into the Dragon Age series. In Dragon Age 2, there's a character called Aveline, who's a female warrior who becomes the city guard.
Yeah.
Now, back in 2011, that was seen as a very progressive character. A woman becoming the city guard. She was a warrior and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it does.
She was in charge of her own destiny and everything like that. She was a girl boss. Today, she's seen as a problematic character in the Dragon Age series.
Yeah, she does.
Do you know why? Because she gets married.
Yeah. and like they believe that, like, oh, marriage means that, like, oh, well, now they have to slave off to a man. But if they are like a corporate slave, that's completely different.
But can you see what I mean? As in,
absolutely, yeah. The overtime window, it's shifting.
The thing is, I call it the progressive ideology, not because it's good things or like. I just call it that because it's an ideology that always progresses to the next thing that they need. As in, if the current thing isn't working anymore for them, they move on to the next thing to use. So right now it's, quotation marks, wokeness.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, once it starts failing, they'll move on to something else. So, yeah, but no, I can't believe that within an hour of my first ever post about Elder Scrolls, we reached woke doesn't exist. It
never existed, but if it did, it would be a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where the nonsensical stuff started. But I keep seeing these things for everything now, and I'm like, there is no debate anymore. There is no actual conferring of ideas because one side just does not want to admit its certain ideas.
Yeah. It's just like
pretend it doesn't exist.
It's just like in your video that you made like a while ago. There was never a debate with the left.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You predicted all of this.
I'm really good at predictions because I can actually read people. People are very simple to understand. This is what
I can read.
Amazes me. People are really simple to understand, and you can see why certain people follow certain ideologies.
Yeah.
And so when they come to like debates and everything like that, the left don't care about debates.
They don't. They just want to be loyal to the idea. They don't want to have like a thinking process at all. Let's just skip to like how I can worship this one thing.
No, it's not. It's not even that.
Not that.
With people on the left,
what's that?
Their goal is the utopia. That's it. Utopia.
Utopia through
violent revolution. No, seriously, it is always violent revolution because you need to wipe out the people who are already in charge.
Right.
Because you cannot take power from the people who already have power without violence.
And that kind of violence is Dragon Age Railguard.
Yeah, no, but that's why you always get these. That's why they always talk about killing Nazis or punching Nazis.
Oh, they do. It was just so funny. Well, actually, it's much more of a darker subject. But a couple of days ago, a transsexual person jumped off a bridge. Well.
Yes,
it was to be expected, but like the craziest part is that like people dug up that person's Twitter account,
tweets.
and
Yeah,
it was just calling for the genocide of all white people.
yeah. I've seen it and everything like that.
It's just
It's
it's on
when you
repeat. Like but the worst thing is that like the parents were supporting this person.
yeah, I've seen some of the tweets. It's like anytime he turned for help, people just kept affirming his beliefs,
Yeah,
pretty much pushed them themselves.
like
So
the kind of point, like the point that like, oh, if only this person got like more support, like acceptance, then none of this would have happened. Like, but it's all fake. This is the proof for that.
yeah.
Like, this is not an exceptional situation. Like this has been happening for so long, and you don't even need to
Oh,
like bring in like these general ideologies. It's just the root cause. Like it's brain rot. There's no other way around it.
the the issue comes from the fact that the left have always sought a group to be cannon fodder.
Yeah,
So obviously, when Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, he always assumed the working class would be the cannon fodder.
yeah,
So that's why we started off supporting the working class. But obviously, when wages were rising after the Second World War,
yeah.
and
There's no
the world
such
was
thing
getting
as a working class anymore.
yeah, but when everything got prosperous, what was the working class thought? Well, why do we want to overthrow anything? We've got all what we want here.
Yeah,
We can work and provide for our families.
yeah,
So the left had to move on to something else. And it's why I always use the UK as an example. It's why in the late 90s, early 2000s, you saw a vast number of Eastern Europeans come over
yeah.
because the left
Polish
thought,
migrants.
yeah, the left thought, oh, well, they've lived under communism, they'll want it here. So they kept
Yes.
bringing them over, right? And then the Polish were like, no, we don't want communism. We lived under the communism. We don't want it. And then you saw them change again. And this time um, they moved on to the
Africans,
LGBTQ.
Arabs.
No, the LGBTQ was first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they thought that these kids were going to pick up guns and everything. It wasn't until after Brexit and like 16, 17, especially with Trump, when immigration skyrocketed with, well, when they realised that the LGBTQ weren't particularly a fighting force,
Yeah.
but they went, well, we need Arabs and blacks and browns, and that's why they're bringing them all in. So this is why they're very pro-immigration right now, when beforehand they were very anti-immigration, especially in like the 20s and 30s. So, like I say, it's just they're just looking for the next, obviously, group of cannon fodder, and they think they've got it right now.
Yeah.
The only issue is the only reason why the LGBTQ is still attached to it is because the T is still attached to it.
Yeah.
But if you mention that, people will just say you're sexist, homophobic, and racist, and you're like, oh, okay, excellent. So you've not argued my point; you've just insulted me. So, oh, okay. Glad to see you winning the argument.
It's just
Tell me where I'm
endless
lying.
circle.
Yeah, but yeah, we've moving back onto video games and everything like that.
Oh,
Uh,
thank God.
yeah, it's just when you see that argument come up, you just think, well, it's a waste of time now talking about it. I mean, one person responded going like, leftist propaganda has always been there. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's like all propaganda is bad. Because propaganda
Yeah,
isn't meant to. Propaganda doesn't entertain.
it
It's
does
a
not.
lecture.
It's trying to, anything that tries to manipulate you is
Hmm.
bad, and I can't believe I have to say this out loud.
Go on
That was it.
then. No, it's like I always think to myself. Remember when you were a kid and you had those say no to drug bloody days and stuff like that? You know, those
Yeah.
like an hour and some Christian mom would tell you to say no to drugs, and you were not interested one iota in listening to it. That's
I
exactly the same when you have a black woman shouting about reparations, equality, all that. That people are not paying attention. It is a lecture. People will not pay attention. So propaganda is not good.
Yeah, I had all my university lectures were pretty much like this. And I kept screaming on the exams that like I don't want to know anything about quadruple functions that are inverting the vectors, but they didn't listen to me.
But yeah, so you explain that and they're like, oh, actually, it is a good thing, and you're like, oh, shut the fuck up.
It actually is a good thing because this person made a really good job 25 years ago. Anyway, fast forward to Starfield, and nobody talks about Starfield. Like a Bethesda game, a AAA. Oh, was it like quadruple A game?
Yeah.
Also, nobody talks about it.
What I find funny is I looked up the three women who were involved in it, and they have credits on Starfield.
Yeah, all of them worked on Starfield. I checked it too.
Okay.
And now you think like, but it's gotta be fine because this isn't the Elder Scrolls.
It's gonna be fine because they made Skyrim 14 years ago, and you're like, okay, that's great.
Who else was on that team? Like, it's not. It's like okay, like it's kind of like those bands that like, oh well, we haven't been playing for like 10 or 20 years now, but like, oh surely we're gonna be so much better now. Like I do know that like you fucking hate Metallica, but like I think even you agree that like the format that they had in the early 80s is way better than the current one, and they sound way better too.
It's like, imagine a really good band from like the 1980s that were really popular, and then they've reformed in 2025 to do a tour. You're like, oh great, that's wonderful, but the lead singer's not there.
Yeah, like he has been replaced.
He's been replaced by a small midget who can't reach the microphone. You're like, okay, that's great.
You know what? Like Linkin Park. Like I don't even like Linkin Park, but like they decided to like have that woman.
Mrs. Hawke loves Linkin Park, right?
Yeah, but like
she hates what they turn into. Lincoln, obviously, this is another thing about nonsensical thing that I managed to call as well. I said straight away, do you remember that punk revival that happened in like 2024?
Yeah.
Right? And I said, if Trump wins the elections, you're not going to hear anything about him.
Yeah. And they're gone.
And they're gone. They literally went, no one hears anything.
I think my favorite has to be the Bloodhound Gang. Like they said like, we're not gonna play until Trump is the president, and meanwhile like they were like just like having like this kind of like Trump derangement syndrome. And they managed to just like break up entirely, and now they hate each other and they will never play. But 100%. Although like they never really had much achievements other than like those 2 or 3 songs that they released like in the early 2000s.
That's something else that's like nonsensical, but people even like. It's like you could tell straight away what the whole thing was, and you're like,
yeah,
they're being pushed now with all this stuff because it's election season and they want Biden to win. Once the election's over, they're going to go back to obscurity. And well, look at that, just disappeared, gone,
completely gone. Green Day, I think that was another band that was promoting Biden so much. Mm-hmm. They are like irrelevant. Like all they did was like they put like changed some of their lyrics so it includes like MAGA or Trump. It's so fucking pathetic. Like they are like pushing 60 or close to that.
Exactly.
Oh man,
you sat there like, okay. See, so much nonsense. When you start,
so much
they're like shifting through it. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ, what's the point in ever like interacting with half of it?
we should invite like Literature Devil so we can have like a night nonsense. But I think it's too tired now to do that.
But yeah, so that was one thing.
Back to Bethesda.
Back to Bethesda. Yes. back to like
The fat women.
Someone, what did what's that guy who pretty much kick-started Gamergate 2 off?
The
Begins with
guy?
a K.
Oh, yeah,
That Brazilian.
the Brazil. Oh, Gamergate 2. I forgot about him. But I do
That
know
Krub,
that like he had like a Doom guy picture.
that
Yeah.
Krabutz or whatever it is or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember what his name is now. He brought up obviously the Bethesda thing, and yeah, when people called him out, I mean, of the few people who are obviously Bethesda fans,
Yeah.
called him out about it. He showed a picture of that Patrick Weeks, um, saying, obviously, this guy wrote some good stuff in the past. He got captured by the ideology. Look how he's changed and everything. And what got me goes, yeah, but that's different. And the reason it's different is what? Well, he made a good game 10 years ago compared to 15 years ago, and that's the literal only difference. So,
Uh,
okay.
I don't even remember the guy.
Patrick Weeks. Oh, he wrote like a lot of characters like Morden, Solus, and Mass Effect and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, Patrick Weeks
And
with like ES
he
at
got
the
blue.
end.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because his name isn't he like known as Patricia Weeks or something now or
Oh
something
God,
stupid.
is that how he looks like? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no, he doesn't look like a
oh my
woman.
God, like there's a old picture of him from 2015 where he looks
Yeah,
completely normal.
normal. Yeah,
Now I'm so sorry for this, but like he looks like a freak.
yeah. If you show a picture of say the three women who were on that
Yeah, in that interview, right?
right now,
Uh,
not
i-
judge a book by its cover. It's like, well, no offense, but if the book's titled "How to Look Like an Insane Leftist," then they do pretty well, don't they?
okay, yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I just, like I say, it's just getting to the point where you're just like, stop lying just to try and win an argument.
Stop
Like I wasn't
lying.
even like. I think a lot of people came at me as, oh, this is just some right winger who wants Bethesda to fail. I'm like, no, I literally just asked the question. I put two questions forward. Number one is if Elder Scrolls 6 ends up being swamped by wokeness and fails, does it make the original point valid? And two, does previous achievements from over a decade ago counteract failures today? And everyone only answered that first question, which is, oh no, they made good content, so they'll not fail this time.
And it's just the same answer that I would say for like the question that we derailed like before that is that like who else was on that team who made
Yeah,
Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim like a success? Because Morrowind had a much better ride than Oblivion and all the other games that came
yeah,
afterwards. I believe that after like what was it like Fallout 3 is when they hired like a new guy to who has like that very Spanish sounding name. I can't remember. He's the guy who made those retcons that the main character of Fallout 4 is a war criminal who killed the guy in the intro of Fallout 1.
yeah. I remember that, and like everyone just went no. And you went, oh well, it's just a head cannon. It's
And
like
they memed him into saying that it's just a head cannon.
honestly, that's another thing with nonsensical fucking head cannon. But anyway,
It always has to go with the head cannon. Like it's
yeah,
always
it's always head
like
cannon. Yeah,
I can't defend the
always
point.
head cannon.
So yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I've learned straight away that debate with people who are left wing usually descends into a few things of a they're obtuse and just lie to the point you think, well, I don't know why we're even talking. Like you know exactly the point I'm making. You're just being obtuse because you can't defend it. Two, they headcanon stuff. So now I'm arguing against delusional fiction inside a singular person's head. So there's no argument here. You can
Yeah.
just make anything up. Or three, they just call you an idiot. At which point, well, there's no debate here. There's no arguments.
Mm-hmm.
You have no defense for anything. That's how it always ends.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it numerous times where.
Oh, you went out. I can't hear you. Must be in the internet.
Thing we've done. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. But I don't even know what you're on about. Well, you do.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
you went
man.
out for a minute.
Sorry, I was moaning to myself.
Yeah.
No, I was just
It's
saying
fine.
that. Which part did you not get? All of it.
All of it, I believe. And like even Matthias is saying like Shalom. Hawke didn't kill himself.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
No, like I say, it just boils down to like the three things of, well, my headcanon says this. It's like, well, I'm not interested in what your headcanon says. I want to know what is in the script
Yeah.
and been shown on screen. Well, I don't know what you're on about, but you do, because that's why you're here arguing against it. Or three, oh, I'm just going to insult you because I've got no defence. So, right, excellent. So you've not done anything.
Absolutely none.
I feel like I get more more debate out of Melvin.
Yeah, the brother of the Joker.
Melvin, or whatever he calls himself, who literally wants to see my family skinned alive
Yeah.
and killed.
Does he still send you the emails, or
Oh.
did you block him?
Oh no, he never sends me emails. He's created 2 Reddit subthreads
Yeah.
solely around me, in which he talks about how my partner should be raped and my kids should be sold into paedophilia and how I should be put in a gulag.
What a monster.
Because supposedly, many years ago, I said kill yourself to somebody on a Smudcast.
Oh, so it justifies that, like, now he can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah, apparently Crate has banned him.
So yeah, they did.
I missed that.
Yeah, do you not see why the reason why they banned him?
No, I'm
It was
totally
my
out of the loop
post.
with that one. What?
He put a post up of me
Yeah, he
on
did.
Salty Wing
Yeah, he
Crate,
did.
calling me a paedophile, and people responded going, "What are you on about?"
But when left wingers are confused about you, you really messed up.
Yeah, I don't understand the
Yeah.
hate. No, I do. No, actually, no, I do understand the hate. I think the correct term is, I'm more so an adult, and I realise it's the internet, so
Yeah.
people saying stuff doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, well, it's just because like we have been like seasoned veterans of this place, so we have seen like way worse things than this.
Oh, I mean, I still remember during COVID, the entire nation of New Zealand banned me from ever entering New Zealand.
How did you manage that?
They showed a picture of the latest COVID restrictions. This is back in 2020, I think it was.
Yeah. That was the beginning.
And it literally looked like a despotic hellhole, and I just went, "Wow, this looks like a hellhole." Like literal members of the New Zealand Parliament are going like, "I hope you never enter New Zealand." And people sending me death threats saying, "If I ever see you in New Zealand, you know I'm going to hit you." I'm like, "What?" Okay.
Okay.
I'm so frightened.
I'm a bit far away from there.
I'm like, yeah, I'm so frightened of some guy 200,000 miles away. And then the city of Liverpool attacked me, which was interesting. Mainly because I asked the question of a news reporter for the Liverpool Echo interviewed a person on their deathbed with COVID
Yeah.
at the time when when no one was allowed in hospital rooms with them,
Yeah.
and I went, if this guy's got COVID, how is he allowed in the room? Like you can't go in the room. It seems a bit fishy to me. It seems like it's just a made up story, because at that point in time, you legally couldn't go into like hospital rooms with people with COVID.
Yeah.
And he got wind of it. So for the next day and a half, I was bombarded with death threats from Scousers and people from Liverpool, threatening to find me and kill me. I was like, okay, that's great.
What a bunch of wankers.
Yeah, no, but the reason is I dared
the question the authority.
Yeah, no. It turns out that reporter is very well liked in Liverpool.
Oh, really? Oh,
and because I was like,
that's totally excusing everything that just happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So me just asking a question, saying, something doesn't look right about this, especially considering what's happening in the country. Oh well, I attacked Liverpool, so I got people. I've literally got some bloke sent me a picture of him with his three mates going, "If we see you in Liverpool, we're having you." And honestly, it just literally looked like they were just missing 4 of the fucking other dwarves. I was like, okay.
I like that the guy, like, remember that moment when we were still on the sloppy second server and Bears was like making the edit of that other guy in your small town that was like trying to threaten you with his friends.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of those shitty edits. Oh,
yeah.
Those were hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, no, so yeah, the nonsensical thing of people threatening me on the internet, like, okay.
It seems to be an ongoing thing. Like, it's just like you live in like the most craziest village imaginable.
No, it's not even that. I actually just live in the real world.
Yeah,
people are loopy sometimes.
Yeah, like random encounters everywhere.
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, you know about me. Like when I had that random encounter with that guy and he bit me.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yes. And then your arm mutated into like Tommy Wiseau.
No, the funny thing is a bloke bit me.
Yeah, I saw the scar. It is real. Yeah. In case anyone is doubting this story, it is real. I have confirmed it myself. Like the saliva is still on Hawke's fingers.
I've got the police reports of what happened. It was in the local newspaper. Yeah. I was jumped by 4 people in a taxi rank.
Yeah.
And one of them bit me, and I still managed to beat them off. So when people threaten me on the internet, I'm like, wow, okay. Yes, because you, communist lover 247, are the person who's gonna do me in Alberta, Canada. Oh,
banned from New Zealand.
Yeah.
How are they gonna make that?
Maori.
How are they? How are they Maori chanting?
Just got some guy doing a hacker in front of me, and I'm just like, oh, better kick him in the balls.
Why am I hearing boss music? That's what he's asking. Yeah. And it's just like a generic bell music from Dragon Age.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just nonsensical. Like I do think a lot of people.
Legacy asked you that, and you won.
Yeah. People don't understand how many actual fights I've been in and won.
Yeah.
It's like people fail to understand that I actually went to prison.
Yeah. You were in the joint for 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Falsely accused, by the way, but yeah, I've been
falsely accused, and like it's still on the record.
Yeah, so I had to wait to be released and everything. I've seen I've seen people get stabbed and everything in there.
Yeah,
Hmm,
it's a
not
funny place.
fun.
And what kind
Well,
of
this
fighting technique do you have, Hawk?
well, I actually throw a good punch, and I keep throwing it until the person either gives up or is unconscious.
Yeah, that seems to be
Work it,
working.
it works. So worked wonders for me so far.
The
No,
the only thing that I ever had to do in a fight was just throwing the person,
hmm.
and it was so effective that I never had to use it ever again.
Well,
Uh,
people fail to realize that I'm in real life. I'm 6'4",
yeah,
and I obviously play rugby, and my job is really like physical work,
yeah, heavy.
like heavy lifting, and
Yeah,
yeah,
you're the heavy
people,
weapons guy of England.
yeah, yeah.
You just
But people
still
fail
have
to,
your hair.
yeah. But so people when they go like, oh God, look at this guy on the internet saying things. Yeah, oh, phew, you don't bother me.
You weighed
It's
like
just
15 kidney stones, or what was it?
15 kidney stones. I
Like
weigh
first time you told me, like I was like stones. Like, what is that measurement?
because in the UK we use stones instead of like kilograms and shit like that.
Pounds.
Yeah, pounds and pence.
Okay, yeah, right. Ah,
But yeah, that's why when people throw insults and stuff on online, it doesn't really
bother you?
no. And I
Uh,
just think it's like, okay, I'll keep
Honestly,
saying
yeah.
my point.
15 kidney stones. Okay, Chopper, you don't have to glaze the guy. Yeah, he knows that.
Yeah.
Right, but honestly, I have the same like mentality like online. It's just like I just don't bother with like those things. Like last year, like November, I don't think I even ever talked about this before. So like this is gonna be like very premium content, right, guys? So I was playing Left 4 Dead 2 online in a versus, but not versus, but like a campaign. It's like
Yeah.
4 people usually, and there was like one guy that really hated me because I was playing with a girl who was a Steam friend of mine. So, but like, it was just a recent thing at the time. So we were just playing, and the guy was like so angry at me that like he was asking for my location, saying that like I don't care. And like he got to the point that he said like I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you. I said like okay, good luck. Yes.
What?
And still to this
Oh,
day, like the guy is like so angry that this girl is leaking like some of the chat messages that like, oh well, you know, like why would beat up this person?
man.
Like,
Oh,
and I'm just like, dude, we're playing Left 4 Dead.
yeah, video game.
Can
Calm
we
down.
just like calm down,
Also, because
please?
you're not a small guy either.
No, I'm not. I'm like 6'5", so.
Yeah, you're taller than me, which was a shock when I saw
And
you for the first time.
I even work out like 3 or 4 times a week.
Hmm.
So
You can't hold your beer though. That's the issue.
I can't like that. Not everyone is perfect as you, Hawk. So
No, to whoever's in the chat, when me and Mark met up, he came over to visit me. I
6 pints and 2 glasses, and the final one was Guinness, and that was
yeah, because
that was when I almost died.
so Mark foolishly decided to try and keep up with me drinking because we're doing a pint in every pub down the street where I live.
Yeah,
There's quite a lot, weren't there?
yeah,
And it's like a tradition in my hometown.
yeah. It is.
And I said to him, do not mix your drinks up. Whatever you're on, stick to it. So if you start on lagers, you're on lagers all the way down. We got to this pub where I actually deliver the alcohol, and he gets a Guinness. So I leave to go to the toilet. I come back. Bear in mind, this is what, not 5 minutes, was it? Something like that. A bouncer's come up to me going, is the guy who speaks funny your friend? Because he's just been sick all over the floor.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, he is.
That's the only image I remember. Is that like I just remember that like you just like happened to be at the corner, but I started like releasing myself.
Anyway, so I helped clear it up with the bar staff because I knew them. We got it all cleaned up, and then you threw up again.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, we got to go home. I had to carry to your hotel.
that was a really fun day.
Yeah.
And I remember that, like your girlfriend was like angry at you that like, oh, why did Mark like picks up those drinks? It's like it was your fault or at all. Like it wasn't your fault at all. It was like
I
me
know it
like
wasn't my
going
fault.
crazy. Yeah, like it sounded like she was trying to make it like it was like you were at fault.
No, she got she also got annoyed the fact that I took you back home.
Yeah,
Took back home, took you to the hotel. And she's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he could have stayed here. I'm like, no, he needed to get back. He was thrown up everywhere. I'm not bringing him back to our house.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
And you had your
I
coat with you, and you threw up on your coat,
I did.
and had to.
like,
My missus had to wash it.
how my evening looked like on that day is basically I I managed to like hold it in myself until I reached my room, and then I like sat down in the bathroom, and I was like sitting next to that toilet for like an hour straight, and then I was like, okay, everything is out. There's no way I can like throw up again. Then I lay down on the bed and I throw up at the carpet. And somehow, through a fucking miracle, I managed to clean it up to the point that like you couldn't even smell the thing. But I
Yeah.
sure as hell, I felt like I didn't have anything in me. Not even like a
Yeah.
drop of water.
Then he did all that, and he still came out to my house and had pizza later.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That was a fun. That was a really fun like vacation I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. See, this is the good thing that comes out of the internet, not the bad things of being threatened.
Yeah, like I never want to like deal with those people that like I try to threaten me that like I need to die because I made like one joke at his expense about maybe a supposed failed marriage. Like because I was like teasing him that like he was like trying to say things that he wants to rape my sister and those things. So I as a counter joke I was saying like, well, maybe you should ask your wife if why she left you. And then he got so mad at me for that.
Did you leave because of all the rape jokes?
Yeah, after all those rape jokes, I was like, just cool it with those rape jokes.
Cool it with those anti-Semitic remarks.
Anti-Semitic remarks, right? Oh yeah, but like there are crazies everywhere. Honestly, you can't live your life without that. Like funny shit is that like even at my workplace, my coworker was like saying that he just can't take it anymore. Like every day he has to hear about climate change, the war in Ukraine or Israel, or something else that they fucked up. And I said like, you just need to ignore it. It's not about you. They're gonna write the articles anyway. You just have to ignore it. You're just gonna focus on something that's fun.
It's like with me, like me and my videos. I could just make videos about any old crap, but I don't want to. I want to do something that I'm actually interested in talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm still planning on getting round to doing that video on why The Last of Us Part 2's revenge bad theme doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I just got to find time to do it and get like the drive to do it.
Exactly, because if we don't have the drive, then like it's like, what is it for then? Honestly, it's if you don't enjoy the thing you put your time into, then like just screw it. Honestly, like you just have to let it go.
Yeah.
One of those things for me was making overly long videos about why I don't like something, and like sometimes it works out. But if there are like some videos that I never released because like there wasn't any passion behind it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't add anything to like the stuff that like anyone else wouldn't have said it before me.
Mm, exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
But the thing is, like I said, we don't lie about
yeah,
stuff to anyone like them.
we're not gonna have to be the kind of review sites where like, oh, I can see this glaring issue that's in front of me for like 95% of this game, but I'm not gonna talk
Yeah.
about it because it's a problematic topic.
Yes, no, we'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone asks me, like, oh, find something wrong with like your favorite games, I can easily do that. I can easily talk about how bad they are. And people are, like surprised when I'm like, I'm not 100% like this, whatever this product is 100% perfect. No, there's issues, but you don't get that out of other people.
Yeah.
In fact, people know I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age 2. Boy, does that have issues. And I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I can agree with stuff that's wrong with it. Like I love Red Dead Redemption 2. It has issues.
Yeah,
I will gladly talk about the legitimate issues, not the stuff people are just making up.
I just love it that like Red Dead Redemption 2 has been like on such a heat on Twitter. Like
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
people either really love the game or they
Yeah.
just have to talk about the same three issues that they have with it. Is that like it's too easy, it's redundant, or it's woke. That has to be like my favorite one from all the three ones because like
Yeah.
there are like some elements of it that are like
Yes.
subverted for like a very liberal audience, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that like 100% like Reddit 2 is like a very woke story because it's not. Like there's no way that you could make that
The,
unless you haven't played the game.
the best thing about the people who complain about it is all their complaints can fall solely on Sadie Adler, but you're not allowed to criticize her.
Yes.
So they have to find other things. That's what I find interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's woke. Yeah. Oh, so like Sadie Adler. No. She's a really good, well-written character. Blah blah blah. You're like your issues with whatever everything you're saying falls onto that character.
Every scene she's in, it's like it feels like she's so isolated from everything else.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's a solo scene with her, or she's just a total badass.
Yeah. And like I say, the excuse of why she's so good, she lived on a farm with her husband, and she
On the mountain, yeah.
in the mountain and knew how to use a gun because she shot some rabbits. It's like, right, that's
Yeah,
not.
right.
Also, she affects the whole theme of Revenge of the Fool's game
Yeah,
hugely.
way better than Last of Us 2.
Mm. So I'll give a quick rundown of why, like say, Red Dead's Revenge Bad works better than Last of Us's
All right,
Revenge
go
Bad.
ahead.
So in Red Dead 2, it's repeatedly mentioned how Revenge of the Fool's game. It's actually said word for word by Arthur Morgan to Archie Downs, the son of Thomas Down, the man with TB.
Yeah.
And he literally says to him about wanting revenge, he better dig another grave, and then finish it going. I'll keep your mum in black on your behalf. So he says he'll kill him to like dissuade the young lad from going after revenge because it's pointless.
It is.
And then in chapter 3, Dutch is talking about robbing people in the southern town of Rhodes as revenge for his pappy's death in the Civil War. And Arthur's like, I'm not interested in revenge. It's silly. It's stupid. And obviously, it all ends up going bad. And then, obviously, as the game progresses, even Colm O'Driscoll's death. They talk about revenge, and Arthur's like, it doesn't matter. If there's other things, revenge doesn't matter here. So as you can see, the progression is revenge does not matter. It's worthless, pointless. It doesn't matter. And the culmination is obviously John Marston going after Micah. He gets his revenge.
But it gets him connected back to those bounty hunters.
To the Bureau of Investigation and Agent Ross, which leads to his death eventually at the end of Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
The issue is Sadie gets her revenge against the O'Driscolls in Chapter 6, and she's fine. She's a little bit broken by the fact that, she's lost her husband. Okay. But she becomes a bounty hunter, makes a life for herself, and gets away scot-free with everything. So it's built that theme of revenge. Bad things will happen if you get revenge. Revenge is worthless. And then Sadie gets her revenge and is fine.
Yeah.
So it's a negative. The characters are negative on that, and that also links into The Last of Us Part 2 about why the revenge is bad. One character doesn't get revenge and loses everything. Abby gets revenge and gets
better. Yeah, gets a high five from the story.
And like as I explained to people, or tried to explain to people in regards to it. Well, I'll go through Ellie. So Ellie loses Joel, and she goes on a quest for revenge against Abby. She kills all of Abby's friends, who at this point in the story aren't even friends with Abby.
Yeah, they didn't really care.
Yeah. She gets to Abby. Abby beats her up and has threatened to kill Dina. And Abby lets him go for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't care. So Ellie fails at revenge. Was it like a year goes past or something? Because they have a kid, and the kid's old enough, like a year or 2 years go past. They find out about where Abby is again. Ellie goes out again to get revenge. Finds Abby, fights her, gets her finger bitten off, gets the upper hand, and then goes, "Oh no, actually, revenge means nothing. It's worthless. Don't worry. I'm not interested. Just go." Ellie gets back and has lost everything. Dina's gone, the baby's gone, the house is abandoned. She can't play the guitar anymore, and that's it.
Yeah.
So Ellie loses everything and never got revenge. Right? Never got revenge, never even came close to revenge, but loses everything. Now let's go on to Abby. Abby loses her dad. She vows revenge on Joel. She goes out, kills Joel, gets revenge. Right, excellent. Perfectly fine. She makes one of her friends cheat on his pregnant missus. She's abusive and mean to her friends to the point where they don't start liking her. They all start dying, and she's not really interested, doesn't really bother her. Then she finds Lev, and gets a new lease of life by helping Lev, and escapes from the Washington Liberation Front, and becomes a good person. A better person.
The
people
best
go, yeah, but
person.
She got that crucified. Yeah, she got crucified because she was doing the right thing and helping Lev, because she's a good person now.
Well, it's kind of funny when a Jew puts like a crucifixion imagery into a video game.
Yeah, of course. But
the experience.
She gets away.
Yeah, she gets
to
away.
Live a happy life. So revenge led to her becoming a better person, escaping from the oppressive Washington Liberation Front, escaping from her toxic friends who were supposedly holding her back and everything like that. And she becomes a new, better person, turns over a new leaf. Well,
yeah, and it's one of Ellie's hands as well.
Yeah, but loses a finger, yeah. Oh yeah, well, Ellie saves her as well, so it's like, yeah, so with The Last of Us, revenge is bad, but 50% of the revenge is fine.
Yeah. It's cherry picking, like which revenge is good and which revenge is bad. But my favorite has to be is that, like, it was well said, by the way. Like, I think if this is the basis for that video, it's gonna be a success.
Yeah.
But what I hate is that I really don't want to say this, but like I think it was this week where Neil Druckmann has confirmed that like the Fireflies
Oh,
could have made the cure
literally
in the
no.
first game, and that is so dumb. Like, how many years has it been since the first game was released? Like at least 10, right?
I think Last of Us came out in 2013.
So 12 years ago, they and now they have confirmed it way after the game was released several times, by the way. Like they
haven't
didn't put
actually.
like any scenes to confirm it. In fact, like the games are full of information that never
Contrary.
contradicting that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They literally tell you
this is
repeatedly that,
terrible.
yeah, they tell you repeatedly that the cure wasn't going to work.
Wasn't gonna work. This has
Yeah.
happened several times, and like multiple people have just died. Even though, like, in the story standpoint, which is why it is severely stupid that they have introduced like so many like non-traditional value characters.
Yeah.
I think this is the most politically correct way I can say this on YouTube. But like they have like so many gay characters in a world where pregnancies, especially when you have genes that are immune to this virus, are like something that like is undermined by this stupid new
The best thing
culture
about
that we have. Yeah.
the best thing about The Last of Us and how it's so tone deaf and everything like that
Oh,
is
why is it?
you've got all these, not tone deaf, but you've got all these gay relationships, all this pride flags hanging up everywhere. You've got all
Yeah.
this progressive 2020 stuff, right?
2024 is California.
Yeah. It's set in the world where the apocalypse happened in 2003.
Yeah.
So gay marriage wasn't even legalized.
In fact, like Californians were against it at the time.
Californians at that point had Arnold Schwarzenegger as a governor.
Yes.
Right. So, and I mentioned this before about because people were saying like, oh, what's wrong with the pride flags in Seattle and all this sort of stuff. I went in 2003, they wouldn't have murals and flags everywhere for pride because it's not something that they did back in those days. They'd have the pride parade, yeah, but unless the apocalypse hit during a pride parade, they wouldn't have flags hanging up everywhere. And they certainly wouldn't have pride flags that were created after 2016 hanging up and everywhere.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Oh, you're obviously delusional." It's like, no, I lived during this time.
It's the same conversation that we had like more than a year ago about. I think it was by Carl Benjamin. Like he was commenting under like that Alien Ant Farm cover of the Michael Jackson song.
Yeah.
And that is it,
Oh, yeah,
the whole video was like a time capsule of that kind of culture that we had at the time. And like Zoomers who born after that video was released, like they were in doubts that like, well, you can't really like explain a culture from just a video clip. It's just like yes, you can. Like look at those people. Look at the people in the video. Like how different that culture is compared to like what we have right now. Or just like look at a YouTube video of like that only came up like a couple of weeks ago for me. Is that I wasn't even familiar with that, but like there's the band Creed who had like their famous song Higher, which was played at the memorial like what's that holiday for like the Super Bowl in 2001. Like compare that Super Bowl to like the current crap that they get. Like, is that like they get like some kind of like new rapper or hip hop guy, and they supposedly perform live? It's just total crap. It's like it's you can't compare the two.
No, but it's one of those things where, like I say, you mentioned, listen. Not everything is current day. If you've set something in a different world, you cannot make it like the current day thing.
Yeah,
Like I say with Last of Us, it's in a world before certain things happened,
yeah,
and it's like, oh no, but they'd still do it. It's like, no, they wouldn't. There is, if your world ends at 2003, then you have to have a world where certain things never happened. Like you have to remember, yeah, okay, so there's no gay marriage, so people are against gay marriage at that point. Yeah, there were people who were for it, of course, but not in the large numbers that they have now.
yeah,
And so survivors of that won't be, pushing. Like another thing about 2003, it's right after 9/11. It's about the invasion of Iraq, right? Where
yeah. It
like
is.
there's a height of mistrust of foreigners. They're not going to just allow millions of foreigners. Everyone's going to be foreigners in America.
Yes. I
Like that, their mindset's going to be completely different. Also, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, especially with the show. In 2003, the early 90s, especially, well, the late 90s and early 2000s, people really didn't respect communists and thought they were
no.
all whack
It
jobs.
was. It
I they
was. It was the lowest point
Yeah,
where like they had like very small like support. Like
you
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 could
had
get like
like
what like a Labour Party elected, but like they
yeah.
couldn't like run with slogans
Oh,
that like they would today.
it was called. Let's put it in the UK. It was called New Labour to escape connection.
Yeah, they had to escape
Yeah.
connections. We had like
Mm,
similar things, but like our Labour
mm,
Party was saying that like, oh, this is gonna be for the families.
mm.
Commie stuff never did those things.
You had the mainstream. Every depiction of a communist was a smelly loser who was just a moron.
Yeah,
Who only
because
who only
that
wanted
is
com
reality.
Mm. Because who only wanted communism so they could be lazy at home and not do a job. That was
Yeah,
the image back then. So you've got a world where that's the image, and you're supposed to tell me 20 years later you've got a black woman saying, "Well, we're all communists here." It's like, no, this is not.
that
This is not
is
happening
not
in this world set.
happening.
Mm,
There's no way when you destroy like so much through that
mm,
virus. I don't really have like the story of Last of Us in front of me. Like I even
mm.
like the stuff that I know about. I have long forgotten for obvious
But it's
reasons.
not. It's
But
not. It's
like
not
they
even that.
never
It's.
downgrade to the point that like they would be accepting
Mm.
communist ideas.
Well, you've got, like I say, you've got a society that never developed past 2003.
Yeah.
So you've always got to have that in your mind, and it's why looping all the way back to wokeness has always existed. Um, People mistake pure neutrality as wokeness from the noughties,
Yeah.
as in when people created the worlds, which a lot of fiction did, they thought of how would this world's politics and beliefs have evolved naturally, and they're not really connected to anything in the real world, so that the player can make a decision whether they support this stuff or not.
Yeah.
And that's different to what's happening now, where it is like, well, the good stuff is what we believe, and the bad stuff is what we don't believe. This is a big difference. Like I come back to Dragon Age. There's no right wing or left wing in the Dragon Age universe
Yeah, there isn't.
at all. In Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, there's no right wing or left wing or anything like that. It is just different beliefs that have developed over 1,000 years. This is that. Then you get to Inquisition and Veilguard, and it's, well, the Canary are just communists who like a lot of sex, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's no, okay, that's you're now pushing, and then you start seeing every single group is, well, we're all just basically 2020s Californians with our beliefs. You're like, okay, this is the
What happened with this
yeah, this is
Kunari?
this is this is this is now the difference. You've gone from a world where things are natural and these are beliefs that could have grown up in the world, and these are nations who, nations and peoples who you feel like have had 1,000 years to develop, compared to, well, we wrote this in a Starbucks in San Francisco, and
Starbucks.
that's literally all we know. So everyone in this world lives in a Starbucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you point that out, you get told, well, wokeness has always existed. What has it, considering the fact that wokeness didn't exist until 2014 at the earliest?
Yes.
And
That's when the first Gamergate happened, I think.
Yeah.
That's so many things were kickstarted by Gamergate.
Yeah. And the best thing is 90% of the stuff from pre-2014, the quotation marks woke hate because they think it's right wing. The only things they ever bring up as being woke is the fact there might have been some gay people.
Yes.
Have you noticed that? That's it.
That's it. That's the only thing that they return to.
Well, there was this gay character, so it must have been woke. What? No. Well, we in Elder Scrolls, Argonians can lick a tree or a hist or whatever it is and change.
So they
their
can
gender.
change their genders.
So it's obviously woke. No, they're lizards.
They are, yeah.
In times of intense droughts or situations of distress or disaster, to make sure that the numbers don't go down, certain reptiles can produce eggs and quotation marks turn themselves females.
Yeah.
To make sure the species continues. It's a fucking plot point in Jurassic Park, for God's sake.
Yeah, it is. But
it's like a major plot point in Jurassic Park.
But like they think like, oh, we got this one point.
Does that make Jurassic Park?
We can build a woke empire on this one point that happened.
Yeah, it was like, oh, is Jurassic Park woke now because there's a type of frog.
Oh no!
Droughts.
Oh no! Gay frogs. Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know. It always comes back to Alex Jones.
It does.
And just like Sandy Hook, loads of people died in Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Pre-Ozempic Alex Jones.
Well, yeah. So this is people can be so angry about that for some reason.
Well, they should be, honestly. Like, let them be angry. Let them have their fun.
They can send me angry messages on the internet.
Apparently, Legacy said that the new Devil May Cry cartoon depicted Muslims as demons.
Well, yes.
I mean, like, isn't that accurate? Well, anyway,
yeah.
the Fallout shoe wants to say that capitalist America is responsible for its own destruction, but they go soft with commies and China. Oh, sorry, people who aren't insane. Yeah, yeah, that was the line. Yes.
Yeah.
By the character that we will never see again.
Insane. Yeah. Who no one explains why she's still alive 200 years later.
Why is she still alive? Why is she gay? Or honestly, anything at all.
Why is she able to convince our character that she's actually the good guy after murdering people?
Lucy, I want you to be the protagonist now. Okay.
We have decided that your father is evil. Okay.
All right. Okay. Can you launch another nuke?
This is something that I also don't get. Like, she's a communist and hates capitalist America, but she hates Voltec because they nuked America.
Yeah. Or maybe the real capitalists were the real communists.
Just for the friends we made along the way.
The nukes we launched on the way.
Oh my god, that show was so fucking stupid.
Can't wait. Next December.
Yeah. For that one episode of New Vegas, and then it's going to be nothing at all.
Yeah.
To do with New Vegas.
It's going to be bad. So anyway, where were we? Communism.
Where were we? Communism, yeah. No. No, it's looping back to the everything was always woke, and you're like, no, it wasn't. And it's like, well, there was this gay thing. It's like, is that it? Is that all what wokeness stands for? And they're like, no, it stands for more things. It's like, well, explain it. It's like, no, it doesn't exist.
There were a couple of gay people back then. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what else was there? Like, and my other favorite has to be that, like, the one of the creators of Fallout, Tim something, Fat Man, is gay in real life as well.
Pain, isn't it?
Yeah, and he said, like, one of his issues was that at Interplay, most of the games were about white people, and even like the people, most of the people at Interplay were white as well, men especially, and there was like this lingering homophobia that was irritating him, and I was like, oh, mostly heterosexual nation doesn't like gay sex. What are the odds? Maybe I should.
People forget what the world was like back then.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to like kill people because they have like a different sexual orientation from me, which like goes without saying if you want to be a normal person. But like I'm not gonna be like tolerating those things in front of me if I get like physically disgusted. Like, oh, you don't want to tolerate this. Like that means that like, you're a really bad person.
It's like people come to me like, well, Dragon Age Origins was woke because you could have a gay relationship. I respond, I have never had a gay relationship in Dragon Age.
Yeah. Even when I wrongly, yeah, even when I wrongly clicked on one of the options that could have led to that, I reloaded the save where I could like get out of that thing because I just wanted to avoid that.
Well, Zevran can be a gay love interest. And also he can be a dashing rogue who only sleeps with women.
Or you can just kill him.
Oh, you can just kill him, yeah.
Yeah.
What
a load of shit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the nonsensical stream. We've done this for like an hour now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So many people to death.
Should we call it a day or what?
I'm just thinking. I'm sure people put in the comments, whoever sat through it, going, "Well, you're just a bunch of racists, aren't you? Yeah, racist, homophobes." And then obviously Melvin will want me to die.
Well, I haven't blocked Melvin yet, so maybe he can comment under this with you.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great. That was.
I really love the Nostalgia Critics rendition of Melvin. That's all I can say.
Do you know how sad it is? And all these on all those Reddits, he's made like 4 different like profiles. Just to,
yeah, he
like
did.
Post.
maybe he's still out there, but like under a different name or a different subreddit.
He comments under his own post in a different name, going, "Well, yeah, I agree with you."
I agree with you. Anyway,
I agree. Hawke should die a horrible, horrible death.
This was Melvin's other account, or spiritual friend.
Oh man. What?
Maybe he has a subreddit called r/Melvin is the best.
Yeah. Melvin rules.
Melvin rules. Well, today's subreddit recommendation: Melvin rules and Melvin's the best. Melvin thinks Hawke is the worst.
Sarcastic Hawke sucks.
Here's sarcastic Hawke's real life face, copy pasted on Auschwitz children.
Yeah, he put pictures of me.
Like a concentration camp that was.
And then scribbled the word "fuck" across it. Wow, you come across as such a rational human being.
I could really see a friend in you.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was really bad.
You know when I put that video up going about my hawk, my hawk, my
Yeah, my
stalker,
Hawke.
my stalker. He responded going, "I don't stalk you. I can watch whatever video I like of yours. I just don't like you." So I think you, I think you do stalk me.
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe it's one of your nemesis from your town
oh,
that we don't
oh,
want to name here.
it'd be so funny if it was.
I went
Oh,
from that to crack to Reddit. The evolution.
the evolution of the
I,
hawk hater.
I will get back my hair, no matter what.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whatever the
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Oh man. Well,
Anyway,
do we have like any other nonsensical topics that we can discuss?
I don't, I don't, I
Yeah.
don't really know. Another nonsensical a comment. I think it was from Papa G. I think it was.
Oh,
Um,
the special guy.
yeah, he actually commented half decently on another one of my
Yeah,
videos, which
sometimes when he can
surprised.
find his brain cells, he can be like a decent person.
Yeah, where I mentioned it's a bit weird that the creator of Last of Us Episode 3 wanted men to watch gay romances, and we wanted to trick him into it, and he said, "Yeah, that is a bit weird." It's like, oh my god, okay.
Is that
But
you?
I did a video. I had a leaflet come through about the Reform Party where I live, which is the party where I live, about how it was racist, and I read through the whole thing, and nowhere did it say about it being racist.
Yeah.
It just insulted the leader, and you're like, okay. And then it said stuff of, well, he thinks the NHS is a bit too bloated and it should be privatized, and you're like, okay, that's not racist. And he goes, oh, he supports people going on the hunt. It's like, okay, that's still not racist. Did you know the guy who runs the party is very rich? I'm like, right, okay, that's still not racist. I'm waiting for this racism thing. And the comment was, just know that gay and trans people will always exist. I was like, that was never mentioned in the entire video. What are you on about?
Sometimes their imagination runs really wild.
They've already got an argument in their head that they're going to argue about you with, and you're like, I've not said that.
Wow.
So yeah, that was one thing that was nonsensical. I just think I thought nobody cares about you.
Well,
He went, oh, ditto.
an attempt was made, that's for sure.
He went ditto. I'm like, okay, fine. I don't care that you don't like me or don't care about me.
He's one funny guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He does that, and then the next thing he just mentioned something's a bit weird. He's like, yeah, you're like, what? Oh, okay.
Maybe he has like multiple personalities, and like he's just like switching between the ones that like is in front of him. Like, okay, like today I'm gonna reply like this, but that's too boring. That's too logical. I'm gonna like back out from this like misery by just focusing on something that like doesn't make any sense.
Back out of this misery.
Misery called a Twitter reply guy.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a nonsensical thing. Another thing that annoys me is if I make a point and people argue about something completely different, I'm not interested in having that argument.
That is my YouTube career, especially ever since I rebooted my YouTube channel. Is that like especially the Fallout video? Like for me, like that was like a total failure because like all the comments I got from like those 38 or something comments, they are all about your comment, which is just like a call out post about telling the people that watch this show that they didn't pay attention, and then
Yeah.
they proceed to not pay any attention and just talk about like the points that you talked about in the comment, and
Yeah,
then
in
they
comment.
try to like bring up like my favorite has to be that the guy was saying that like, well, they aren't like next to Shady Sands, they are like way far away, but dude, like that they're right next to it. That there's a scene in the
Yeah.
episode that you mentioned.
Then he shared a picture saying they're not next to the hole, and the picture showed them right next to the hole.
Yeah, but it was from a different angle, so like you couldn't see it as well. But an
Yeah.
earlier scene is like making it extremely obvious that they are in the same area as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
Well,
just like it's just proving that like the people that just rage on about this show as like the next coming of Christ is just like full of shit. Like I'm so sorry to say this, but it's just
yeah.
if you can't defend the show that you love so much, and you have to invent headcanon to defend it,
Yeah.
you're full of shit. Like that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I just laugh when people try and defend a point and it's so clearly wrong, and you're like, well, this it's wrong. And you think you're not even insulting them or anything. You say, listen, look, this is what you're
Yeah.
saying is wrong. Here's the evidence. And just like, no, I'm gonna carry on using my delusions. And you're like, okay, this is a waste of time for everybody. Like I completely like
Yeah.
after the second reply, I completely switched off from that guy's responses,
Yeah.
because what's the point of arguing with someone who's just got a headcanon?
Yeah, he's arguing for like a point of view where he thinks he's right, even though like I gave him timestamps of the scene where I'm not even talking over that scene. I'm just showing like a clip from the show as I usually do, and like he didn't bother reading the comment or the timestamp, and that is like the
He didn't
laziest
bother
thing.
watching the video. He literally just responded to a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I even asked him that, like, okay, like, which point did you disagree with me in the video? Or like, there were like several of those. They were asking like, well, the only thing that I can take away from you is that you're not very smart. And I asked him like, okay, why do you think so? And 6 months later, I'm still not getting an answer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's an insult. It's one of the three ways that the quotation argument goes.
Yeah.
It's the same three ways all the time.
I'm just
It's either
like
being
adapting this kind of mentality in real life as well. If I'm talking about something and the guy is like trying to invert the talking point that like, well, I'm talking about this, then it's like, okay, then I don't care. Go on with your life. I'm not going to reply to that. Like
it's the well, not all. I know one. It's like,
yeah,
wow, you cannot comprehend
like
generalization.
absolutely. And like today, like I had this example at work when during my morning coffee with like my coworkers, we were having a discussion, and like one of them was saying that like I brought up that like, oh well, this is the kind of like climate change shit that like they try to like pull you in, that in Argentina there's a bunch of cows farting too much, so we need to like make sure that we don't waste energy. And then he said like, oh well, yeah, like didn't you hear that like you shouldn't thank the AI when you ask him something on ChatGPT because it uses so much electricity. And I said like, okay, but there are like several people who use the AI to generate all kinds of garbage. I'm sure that like just saying like a thank you to an AI text bot, it's not gonna be needing like too much energy compared to that. It's like said like, yeah, but like even a Google search result can result like so much wasted electricity. We really should like think like how we use those kind of like resources that we have, and say like, yeah, like these are the kind of things that I don't care about. It's total waste of time.
my favorite argument nowadays is hearing and it's come up quite a bit recently with stuff.
Eight.
Well, yeah, two of the arguments is my Christianity stance and my centrism stance on stuff.
Yeah.
That causes loads of arguments.
Which part about it?
Well, my fact that most centrists are leftists.
They are, and that is a fact. Like, I think like short fat Otaku is like the biggest contender of that one. But like he has been like a lolcow for like ages now, so like he cannot be taken seriously. But like Carl Benjamin is kind of there too.
Yeah, my thinking of it is the fact that the reason why they're still leftists is because we're the entire political spectrum that we currently inhabit is still left wing compared to the actual full spectrum.
It is, yeah.
Like, because obviously I always think the horseshoe theory is just rubbish. It doesn't exist.
It is.
And it's just an excuse where you're just literally saying this left wing ideology versus this left wing ideology, but we'll call one of them right wing because they fought each other during World War II.
Yeah.
And we'll say the middle is the perfect thing when it's still left. It's still left wing. People argue about that all the time.
Like my favorite has to be that like they say that like the Biden administration was right wing.
Yeah, you can't, like I say, if it's the true full spectrum that communism is the far left and Nazism is the far right, you cannot have you cannot have that spectrum when the slightest thing that's not even right wing literally gets you pushed to Nazism.
Yeah, guys that are called National Socialism. I'm thinking of like it's a very right wing ideology, but that's like a thing that I'm like so tired of nowadays. Is that like if I have like a right wing idea that I want to own a property and I don't want to be in debt until I die, or like my children are gonna inherit the debt just so I can like buy like a small ass house in the middle of some village. Is that like a driving idea to the point that like people will call me a Nazi for not wanting that kind of like pressure?
With the horseshoe theory, it goes well, the Nazis wanted complete control over everything. The state was running everything. They controlled the unions, and there was one leader, one political party, all this sort of stuff. So where do the small government right wingers fit in to the spectrum?
That's a good question.
Where do they fit into it?
Oh, I guess like they are Nazis.
Their beliefs are opposed to what National Socialism is.
Yeah.
So automatically, once you start looking up, I mean, I even looked up like studies on it, and most political theorists say the horseshoe theory is just crap.
As they should be saying that.
Considering it was invented by a French philosopher in 1971.
That should
so it's
be.
Not even. Yeah, it should be a big red warning flag. French philosophers in the early years after World War II, between 1945 and 1975, were the worst people in history.
Foucault.
Yeah.
Should fuck off.
so that always gets it, and people, you'll especially see it with people who are, say they're centrists themselves, deny it because they're like, well, I've got a few right-wing things. It's like, yeah, we know, but those right-wing beliefs are still incredibly left-wing compared to the rest of human history.
Yeah. That's why whenever I hear like enlightened centrist, I like have like a red flag in front of me. There's no such thing. Like you probably have a lot more right wing ideas, and like you think of those false healthcare and public transportation things, but like you forget like who implemented those things in the first place and why they worked for so long.
You have to remember there was, and even in the 1800s, the political thought was, well, not everyone should vote, and that was a normal thought of
Yeah,
people. Where does that sit on the political spectrum of
extremely
communism?
right wing
Yeah.
nowadays.
Oh, we should only allow certain people to vote because we can't trust the other groups to actually vote. Where does that sit on it?
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, like this could be like put to Christianity is that like there are like so many subsections of Christianity that like divided so much, especially like outside of like the Catholic Church. Even inside the
Well,
Catholic Church, there's like so many debates, especially now that I'm like part of them. It's
well,
just like yeah.
my view on with 21st century Christianity, which I put up, about how it's weak.
It
Its whole
is,
thing is based around weakness,
yeah.
where it is literally. I say this as someone who wants Christianity to, be successful and and be wonderful.
But it is a core value. Like I mean, especially if you're English, then it is like a core thing of English culture. Like it is like pretty much like embedded into the culture itself.
Yeah, but with 21st century Christianity, and I spoke to Mrs. Hawke about it because we thought about going to church and everything.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah. She's really big in her religion. I'm not going to sit there and be lectured by someone telling me just to be weak and accept everything when older Christianity wasn't like that. It's like, yes, turn the other cheek, but turn the other cheek doesn't mean turning your cheek to absolutely everything.
Absolutely, yes. That is like something that is something that like the priest that I go to the parish that keeps saying that like yes, like you should be forgiving to sins, but you should absolutely encourage the person to stop sinning. Sin no more. That's like a direct quote from the Bible.
The thing is that I always think is with forgiveness, it's not given, it's earned. If you just give forgiveness out to everybody, then your forgiveness means nothing.
Yes, that
absolutely means nothing.
Because so like, the person himself never like went through the thought process of like what it takes.
Well, look at what was it, Anthony Carmelo, that incident. Yeah, that young lad got stabbed.
Yeah,
the white kid's dad forgave the killer, and he's had nothing but crap since. The killer's not cared. Killer's not done anything. Doesn't even register. In fact, a large swathe of the black community is celebrating the killing.
That is horrible.
And it's like, yeah, but my Christian belief says I must forgive him. It's like, no, he's not. He doesn't want forgiveness. He's not searching for forgiveness. Do not give forgiveness to him. He does not deserve it.
Yeah.
It's like God and Jesus weren't just pushovers. They did have wrath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jesus didn't see people with stalls in like the temple and go, oh well, I should just forgive him. They just try and make it money.
He ran at them with a whip.
Yeah. So and I think this turning the other cheek literally just comes from one little bit where what was it when the Romans arrest Jesus and one of them cuts a soldier's ear off.
Yes. Peter cuts off the soldier's ear in John's gospel. Yeah.
Yeah. And talk about turning the other cheek and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, because in that situation...
In that situation, it's prophesied. So like that's like exactly what Jesus wants. Is that like he knows that the Jews don't care about the prophecy and they have been ignoring everything that God has been asking them to do. And they don't even want the Messiah. They just want to like follow the rules, and they think that they're just gonna be fine in that enclosed system. And lo and behold, it fails. But
it's not just just be meek and like the meek shall inherit the earth doesn't mean weak people. Meek didn't mean what it means now.
No, like they were very hardworking people.
Yeah, but it just means the humble.
Humble, yeah.
The good.
Yes. they don't
Not
realize that like to be strong, like you have to be like humble as well. Like if like
yeah.
someone is like a good-willed person, they think like it's like a weak, like someone who lets anything happen to them. No, absolutely not.
21st century Christianity is all about being weak, spineless pushovers.
Yeah,
They are literally like, it's just the hippies, but in cloisters, where it's just peace and love,
like the
nothing
other thing
else.
that like they like to talk about is that like, well, even Paul the apostle got forgiven, because like I don't know, you probably know this story, like so we don't have to like go through the entire thing, but like he used to be like one of the highest like Jewish members that were hunting Christians, and like suddenly like he had a vision from Christ and he turned completely.
Yeah,
That's the Paul that we know. But the journey that he went through to be redeemed is like a lot more complex than just saying that like, sorry guys, I approved the killing of several of you, but like, can I be part of you now? Like he did like so many things, and he was doing them alone. Like it was entirely himself trying to turn a new leaf on his life, and
yeah,
like that is not happening nowadays when these people are committing atrocities and people expect them to just like forgiven automatically. Like you have to certainly like have like a strong belief that you have to work towards your redemption, and you have to look
yeah,
through yourself, because like the people that forgive you, like they do it outright because Jesus taught them to. But it doesn't
yeah.
mean that like
Forgive and
they get
was it?
redemption. That doesn't mean
What's
it.
the
Yeah,
what is it? Forgive them for the was it? Do not know what they
they don't know what they
do.
are doing. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, it's not forgive them because I just have to forgive everybody,
yeah,
left, right, and centre.
it is. Yeah,
But I have
but
to, yeah,
even
it's
on the
like
cross, like there were two other criminals that were crucified with Christ, and only one of them was saying that like, Jesus, will you remember me when you die? And he did say, because he was sorry for his own sins. He probably killed people. He was a thief, I believe. But the other
yeah,
guy laughed it off. He said like, none of this thing is real. I killed a bunch of people. I don't care about any of this.
mm,
But like, only one of them went to heaven.
yeah.
The other guy
No,
probably
my,
went
my
to
my
hell.
point is Christians remember that um, the religion waged huge wars against non-believers who threatened them.
Yeah, they weren't like letting anyone just mess around with them.
Like, also remember, like people talk about the Crusades. No one talks about like the People's Crusade. You know, the first one
Yeah,
that went. All right, they got absolutely massacred because they were just peasants with pitchforks.
yeah,
But the average man believes so much in Christ and God and everything like that that the simple transgression of another religion trying to push it away made 40,000 people pick up weapons and go to the Holy Land.
yes.
Could you imagine that today?
I
You
I
could you couldn't
I, I
do that.
wouldn't be able. No.
I always remember, what is it the siege of Vienna
Yes, the
against the
siege.
Ottomans?
Yes, it happened in the 17th, the one in the 17th century, was it?
When the Hungarians came and rescued everyone, which they which
The
Tolkien,
Poles, yeah, but yeah, like
yeah,
we did like
Tolkien
assist the
based
Austrians, yeah.
what is it? Is it Plenor Fields? Is it?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, based it on. They were enemies, but it was a united religion that made them go that no, we're gonna go and help them.
Yes, like that was like a unifying force in Europe.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
it's really bothersome that like now more religions, like both from like Asia and obviously Africa, like the Middle East, like Muslims and so other ones, like they are just practicing their religions, and you're expected to just like fully just accept it, that like
Yeah.
they are the truth. And if you speak up that
But,
like you don't believe those, then you're a bad
but it's
person.
one of those things where it's like they can defend their religion. You've got to let it
You gotta
go.
shut up about it, yeah. That's pretty much the message, sadly.
So yeah, the people get annoyed when I point that out. But I always make the distinction of calling it 21st century Christianity
Yeah,
because, like you say, there's so many different things. But the main thing that's pushed now with Christianity is weakness. Um, yeah, just weakness. That's it. That's all it's pushed. Weakness, spinelessness, cowardice,
yeah,
being meek. Because you'll never see a priest defend their church. No, stand up for it. You'll just see him go, well, I'll just accept these people coming in. I'll just accept, these people are quite clearly subverting my religion. I'll just accept it. I'll just accept it. Jesus told us to just lie down and take it raw.
yeah. Well, in most cases, yeah, like the priest that can't really like defend himself as far as they
No,
can
but
go.
yeah, you say that, but like if we literally talk about medieval Christianity,
Medieval,
they go
they had a completely different face. Yeah, they did.
even in other things. The Jesus didn't say be defenseless.
He never said. He even like said like, "I'm only doing this so you can take a sword."
Yeah.
Giving you a sword. I think
Hmm.
that's the quote from one of the translations. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a deep topic, but it's
Yeah.
definitely more of an answer than going Muslim.
Yeah.
It's just like it's such an odd thing to see in Europe that like they have to move
Mm.
here, and like I know it's probably not the most politically correct thing to say on YouTube, but it's just
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
because we're so
so
correct here, aren't we? Everything we say is wrong.
absolutely, yeah. This is where we gonna have to like turn the other cheek. But it's like the street where I live, I see all kinds of people. Like there's a bunch of Asians and Muslims, like the religious ones, and it's it's so odd. Like they just don't fit in because they have the same kind of dress code and everything else you see on TV. Well, you have
So
seen like more of them since you live in the
it's
UK,
so
but
it's so stereotypical. I don't think, especially a lot of people who don't live near these areas, I don't think you realise how just stereotypical they are.
they are, yeah.
Like like they are almost, and I'm going to say the word, they're just racial caricatures.
Like the smell when they go to Little. Oh God.
Yeah. But the thing is, they make these little enclaves, and honestly, this is not just me being some right wing racist or anything like that. I used to live like on the cusp of one of these enclaves,
Yeah.
right? They do not integrate. They do not like outsiders. They are
No,
very insular, and you're
absolutely not.
like, and you are not welcome there, even in the nicest. And bear in mind, I was just a child back then,
Yeah.
and this is in the late 90s, early 2000s, where everyone was colorblind. There was no races. Everyone was just equal, the same.
Yeah.
You could still tell that you were not wanted there because you were a white person.
Yeah. And
And
my
you're like,
favorite
oh, okay,
part has to be that like none of them speak the language.
yeah,
Like there's like
Y- y-
the part where you meet them that you can see it with your own eyes that like they don't even
mm.
want to integrate in the slightest, to the point
the
that
only
like
time, the
they
only
can't
time
even
as a
use the
child,
language.
yeah, the only time as a child I ever thought that, well, I ever noticed they'd ever get close interaction with you is if you had a cricket bat and a ball, and they'd want to play cricket with you.
Oh, they understood
That's
that
it.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, because down in India and Pakistan, that's the main sport, isn't it?
Really? I never thought like
Yeah.
they adapted that much. They,
Yeah,
they,
nobody
they
loves it
never
there.
had
Down
sports
there.
before you came.
Well, probably not. Um, but no, but that is yeah, I don't think a lot of Americans understand when you see it. It is so jarring, and well, it's a deep topic that needs a proper
This
discussion.
is the curse that the UK got for ending slavery.
People always forget that,
Yeah, they keep forgetting about that.
but no, it's like I say, there's certain things where people will hear what you have to say, and then they'll argue about something completely different than what is actually being discussed.
Yeah,
Like someone, honest, I kid you not, I bet you £100 somebody will go through this entire video, um, and the only thing they'll argue about is they'll ignore everything we've said until we got to that last bit,
yes.
and they'll pick that out, and you're like, you're arguing about that part. Okay.
The last part of the stream is gonna be like the only highlight. It's kind of like who's that like a big bald guy in England who says like pronouns.
It's just what?
He's the guy who, oh, you know him, like he's the guy who covered Starfield when it came out.
Oh, heel versus
Heel
babyface.
versus Babyface.
As.
So like as yeah, so they only gonna have like this 5 or a 1 minute segment of us like saying the most racist shit ever. They're
Yeah.
gonna ignore like all the other context that we were talking about.
Pronouns.
Pronouns.
Yeah. And that'll be it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I
no
love it.
more chicken tikka masala, no more kebabs, no more vindaloos.
Don't
We
switch
have the
your English.
recipes. We don't need you anymore.
No, it's not even that. Like, I don't think people understand the curries that people think they're having, which are foreign, they're actually English recipes.
Yeah, they are. The
Yeah.
chicken tikka
Have you,
masala was made in Scotland.
yeah, have you ever actually had an Indian curry?
It's terrible. I had,
Yeah,
yes.
it's just vegetables.
It is just vegetables. Like the English, like had to realize that like those people don't eat meat,
Yeah,
so that's why they
and
have
also
like such underdeveloped brains.
the spices weren't like what you have now. It wasn't hot. It was just
It wasn't
bland.
hot.
No,
Really?
no,
Wow.
because like the English added the heat to make it more tasty.
Wow.
People people don't realize that, but
Yeah.
people just think that we eat incredibly bland food because oh we don't know what spices are. It's like well, no, we knew what spices are. Have you tried growing spices in England?
Yeah.
It's like I don't think people realize how cold it gets up here and what our climate is like.
Yeah, my favorite was when I saw you walking in September in like a barely like a shirt, and then you told me that like, oh, it's so warm outside. I was like, I was in like
Yeah,
my what was it, like a pullover and a coat.
yeah.
But
It was
yeah,
really warm though.
it was really warm. Yeah, but so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like that has to be like the biggest lie I was ever told in my life is that like English food is shit, because like I would swear that like English breakfast is like one of my favorites to have in
Hmm.
the morning, because it has everything that you need.
Yeah.
And like
It's
beans on
also why
toast, that's the other thing that like my dad of all people said like, oh, that's crazy, no, it can't taste good. And I told him that like next time you can have it, try it. It's like a whole
yeah,
different world.
because you know what the issue is with that is beans that we have are different to what the beans that the rest of the world have.
But it's like one of those like what they called beans,
Baked beans.
baked beans, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they're completely
we have
different to
like
what the rest.
similar ones, yeah.
But the bean, like when Americans say it, it's like, well, no, it's a completely different.
Oh,
It's a
but
completely
yeah,
different
like
food
in the
type.
US, yeah, sure. Like,
Yeah, and they go, oh, you have beans. It's like, no, you're thinking of like your version of beans. It's like that's not it.
yeah, it's so funny that like if you're in Europe and you talk about beans, like then it's like so natural that like there are like several types of beans. but like the average American only knows the beans that you put in like burritos.
Yeah.
But like Mexican beans are like rubbish. I'm going for that.
No, but it must be like you can't like just the mere idea of the food. The beans going near food makes Americans so repulsive. You can't go with, well, these must taste horrible over there.
Yeah. They must
It's
be
like
eating like terrible food every day.
But it's not that. It's also the pure anger as well that comes from them. They get so angry about the fact that you can have beans on bread.
Angry beans.
No, but they're so
Yeah,
angry about
I
it.
get that.
Like,
Yeah, I know.
like,
They do.
beans on fucking bread. You're like, calm down, Jesus Christ.
Beans on my food.
Yeah. And you're like, Jesus Christ, the beans didn't murder your entire family and piss on your fucking dog. Jesus Christ. It's a fucking food type.
Yes,
It's a bean with a bit of fucking sauce over it.
But like, yeah, beans are like really popular in Hungary because we have like so many varieties of like bean soup or like what's like a bean stew that you can have. So they would have like a big hit here. But the American mind can't understand this.
Another thing is like they go, oh, English food is so bland because it doesn't look like it's been put through a blender.
That too.
It doesn't look foreign enough. It's like, okay.
What's wrong with the fish and chip? Honestly, like it's like such a comfort food. Honestly.
Yeah, but it's not fancy enough. It's not. What are you on about? It's fish and fucking chips.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't look like it could fit in a fucking burrito. It doesn't look like it could be in a Mexican restaurant. If there's more food than that.
It doesn't need to be. Like honestly, like the more I hear about those food quirks, or can I even call them that? It's like the more discouraged I get about like foreign food. Like there's just like a limit of like how much I'm willing to accept.
I'll be honest with you. The vast majority of I think English food hate stems solely from the fact that they don't like the English.
They don't like the English. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah. Even like the hate towards the French is that like they don't like French. But when you look at it like at a normal lens, you realize that the Parisians are the only French that you need to hate.
Yeah,
because they literally rape their own country.
What I always laugh about is the fact that even other French people don't call Parisians French.
Yeah, they don't, because they aren't. They are complete traitors. But like the same goes for Londoners.
Exactly.
Or like the city where I live. Like they had like they proposed the idea that maybe we should become our own nation. Because there's
the city of your city.
The city of the country of Budapest. Because like there's way more liberals here than right wingers, so
yeah.
Even though like Fidesz isn't even a right wing party, but whatever.
Yeah, the place where I live is just filled with left wingers to the point
Yeah.
where I still think the ghost of Maggie Thatcher.
Yeah, like the ghost of Margaret Thatcher. That was fun.
Yep.
All right. Well, I gotta go soon, so I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. So I think like this was a quite nonsensical stream, but I think we learned quite a lot.
Yeah. I think it's nice just to vent.
Absolutely, especially when you don't have like any like venue to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we can invite Smut so he can tell us about like the sadness that he feels in his heart that like Trudeau is gone, but the party still stays for another 5 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe we need to continue sloppy seconds. That is the alternative.
Yeah.
Well,
No, we
no,
can't
no,
do
that we
it.
can't. We can't do that anymore.
That was Bears as
Yeah, without
Bears as baby.
we're gonna make an AI Bears,
Well,
so he can say the
I
N
think
word.
hasn't Grok started saying racial slurs now or something? So
It sounds just
we're very
like
close.
Bears. Wow.
Yeah,
Nah.
we're very close to bringing them back.
Yeah. There was that crazy guy, the one who made the antivirus program, McAfee, I believe.
Yeah,
His wife,
McAfee, yeah.
his wife announced
Hmm.
that she turned McAfee guy into an AI bot, and like she hooked it up with the Twitter account of the late person, and now it's just keeps spamming messages that are incomprehensible, so he can live on and scam people or even kill people in South America. So watch out, Matthias. Ah, okay. So that was Hawke's Nonsensical Night Stream. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I will see you next week. When are we gonna
Yeah,
do this
sure.
next time?
Yeah, just more nonsensical crap.
Yeah, next schedule. Bye, guys.